My golden child sister broke my new phone that I bought for myself because I didn't buy her one too. So I sold her MacBook and kept the money. My sister is the golden child of our family, and it has been this way since she was born. My parents always wanted a girl, and rejoiced after finding out that my youngest sibling was going to be one. I on the other hand was a boy who came first, and was a failed termination. My parents both have always preferred my little sister. Although they have never said this outright, their actions make it very, very clear. I am currently 16 and my sister is 14, and my parents have already bought her a car and my dad is teaching her how to drive. As early as I can remember, my sister's achievements and special occasions were always more celebrated. She got presents on my birthday, she got to choose the cake on my birthdays, she got to pick all the family events we did. If we ever went to the movies as a family, like we did one year for my birthday, my sister got to pick the movie. I remember that day very well. Avengers Endgame had just come out, and it was all the rave at the time. I was 12 at the time, and desperately wanted to see it. However, my sister objected and wanted to go watch the Lego movie. After some back and forth, which was really just my parents telling me to be the bigger person and let her have her way, we ended up going and watching the Lego movie. One thing that hurt a lot was how much my sister relished in the favoritism of my parents, and used whatever chance she could to wrong me and let me know that our parents would always have her side. Things like her snitching on me for things I didn't do only for me to get in trouble were common. I gave up hope that they would change 2 years ago, when my parents went to a museum with my sister instead of attending my middle school graduation. That night really did break my heart, but I suppose in a sense it was necessary too. It was the day I stopped expecting anything from my parents and started working for everything myself. Stuff like this has been happening all my life, and it is a big reason as to why I'm not close with my family at all. Nowadays, I would describe my sister and my parents as my roommates. A main issue that I currently have is my sister's behavior. The years of getting spoiled and treated like a princess by my parents have led to her becoming unbelievably entitled. She expects her birthdays to be very lavish, she expects to always have the newest technologies, and clothing. She owns a Gucci bags. Well, the one thing which she doesn't have is the newest iPhone. That is something I have, or rather had I should say. You see, I've been working a part-time job for the last year and a half and have been saving as much as I can. Up until 2 weeks ago, I still had an iPhone 6, which was my first ever phone my parents bought me at 14. I had saved up way more than enough money to buy the latest iPhone, and that's exactly what I did. I remember coming home from the shop, new phone box in hand, very excited for my new purchase. I managed to use it for about a day uninterrupted, when I heard my sister complaining about me having it. Why do you get to have a new phone when I'm stuck with this old piece of crap? She asked me. The old piece of crap she was referring to was her iPhone 13. I told her because I worked for it, and I saved up for it, and I decided to buy it for myself. My sister proceeded to ask me why I didn't get her one. I was sort of expecting this from her, so I responded by telling her that her current phone is still new, she did not work for a new one, and shouldn't expect me to get her one. She was of course not satisfied, and in a classic move from my sister, went upstairs to tell our mother about it. I knew what was about to happen, and I mentally prepared myself for the argument that was about to ensue. My mother came down a minute later asking me why didn't I buy my sister a new phone, and I proceeded to tell her the same thing I told my sister. She was not happy, and told me that family buys things for each other. I then asked her if that's the case why did she get my sister a car at 13 and despite me being 16 I still haven't received one, and she said it's because my sister doesn't have a job. I called bullcrap then and there and told my mother I am sick of the blatant favoritism that occurs in this house every single day. That I'm tired of my sister being treated like royalty while I'm treated like a peasant, and if they actually expect me to spend my hard-earned money on a new phone for my sister, they must be insane. My sister and my mother ganged up on me, demanding I buy her a new phone, and the argument ended with me heading out of the house to go for a walk. I came back a few hours later, only to be greeted with another argument, this time from my dad about how I should get my sister a new phone. I did not engage in it however, and went upstairs to sleep. For the next week, I was constantly berated into buying my sister a new phone, and each time I refused, my sister especially, got more and more angry. She even screamed at me once, a literal scream, that I better buy her the new phone. She even threatened to break my phone or throw it at a wall unless I bought her a new one, but these threats of her I took as empty as I figured there was no way she would actually go through with it. Well, 6 days ago or so I woke up to my phone not at my bedside, as well as a smashing noise downstairs. I knew it was only my sister and I in the house, both of my parents had worked despite it being the weekend. I went down to see what the noise was about and there I saw my sister. My phone was on the table, getting repeatedly hit with a hammer. By the time I saw it it was already totally destroyed beyond repair, and when my sister saw me she laughed and said, "Oops, that was an accident. Maybe you should have bought me a phone after all." I looked at her in pure disappointment, and told her I no longer see her as my sister, and proceeded to pick up what was left of my phone and go upstairs with it. I tried my best to turn it on but it was in vain. She had totally destroyed it. Later that day I told my parents what happened but they didn't believe me, as my sister told them that I just dropped my phone. As if dropping my phone results in it completely shattering. Either way, my parents refused to do anything about it, and because there was no cameras in the house and no proof my sister destroyed it, I could not go to the police about it. It was around that time that I had enough. The same night while she slept, I took her brand new MacBook and listed it for sale, undercutting store prices by a decent amount. The MacBook was barely touched, she doesn't use it often and therefore it was in great condition. The next day I managed to get someone interested in the MacBook and I sold it. I did it all without any of my family members noticing. I managed to sell the MacBook for very close to the amount I paid for my phone. I also researched phone repairs, and it was somehow possible to repair my phone. It would cost a lot, but less than a new phone, and less than the amount of money that I got for my sister's MacBook. I'm going to go down to the repair shop in a few days. What's glorious about this whole situation is that my sister has yet to notice that her MacBook is missing. That's how entitled she is. She doesn't even notice that her latest MacBook has gone missing because she doesn't even use it. My family and I are not speaking currently, and I'm more than happy about that.